All right. It is chapter 7, The Risk Takers. We are going. We started this at the beginning of the year and we're already on chapter 7. It's almost the end of February. Oh, did you remember when we were kids and it seemed like the weeks and the days just dragged on and on and on because of school, really? But they're flying by. Even Lola thinks they're flying by. So I think days are getting shorter. I think it's speeding up. Time is speeding up. I don't know. What do you think? Maybe. No? Sarah says no.
No, it's just that we do
Really?
50,000 things at the same time, or we try to, and
Mm,
then we're just, we can't, we should control time, not the other way around. But here we are, right?
well, I would agree with you, except for the fact that Lola feels the same way, and she's only 15 and she doesn't have that much to do.
Yeah, the way
She
I
only
was
does
gonna
what she
say it.
loves.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not when we were kids, it's when we turned 30. But then you said that Lola also feels that, so I thought, well, maybe that's not it. I don't know.
Low is going on 30.
No, I don't know.
Really?
She's very young at heart for sure. She absolutely loves musicals because she's in one all the time. And so she's been dancing and singing all day. But anyway, she's pretty lighthearted. So she's not, I wouldn't call her 13 or 14, well, how old she is. 15 going on 30. I just wouldn't. I don't know. Her friend, yes, is 13 going on 30, but not Lola. Anyway, hey LA, how you doing? All right, we're gonna start our mastermind principles. Ryan, do you want to start us off?
I'd love to. Mastermind principles. I begin every mastermind meeting by reading these mastermind principles. I release. I release myself to the mastermind because I am strong when I have others to help me. Jim,
I knew you were going to say that. I believe the combined intelligence of the mastermind creates a wisdom far beyond my own. Sarah,
I understand. I understand that I will more easily create positive results in my life when I am open to looking at myself, my problems, and opportunities from another's point of view. Ludi,
I decide. I decide to release my desire totally in trust to the mastermind, and I am open to accepting new possibilities. Audra.
I forgive myself for mistakes I have made. I also forgive others who have hurt me in the past so I can move on into the future with a clean slate. LA, have you gone yet?
I, what did you just do?
You're on I Ask.
Okay. I asked the mastermind to hear what I really want, my goals, my dreams, and my desires. And I hear my mastermind partners supporting me in my fulfillment. Um, who's left?
I'll go. I accept. I know, relax, and accept, believing that the working power of the mastermind will respond to my every need. I'm grateful knowing this is so. Ryan.
dedication and covenant. I now have a covenant in which it is agreed that the mastermind shall supply me with an abundance of all things necessary to live a success-filled and happy life. I dedicate myself to be of maximum service to God and my fellow human beings, to live in a manner that will set the highest example for others to follow, and to remain an open channel of God's will. I go forth with a spirit of enthusiasm, excitement, and expectancy.
Woohoo! All right. Yay. Good. Thank you, everybody. So, the risk takers. We get to this point in the book. Oh, this is what I want. How much is enough? I know how much I need. Isn't it great to create this self-image? And then we go, oh yeah, let go and let God. Trust God. Yeah, we'll trust the universe. We'll do that. And then it was, yeah, I expect the abundance. I expect it. And there's this law of vibration and attraction. Of course, the risk takers requires us to move and to do. So this is where it goes. Wait, wait, wait. You want me to what now? I thought the universe was doing everything. What I have to start taking a step. I have to go out and do something. That's scary. But yeah, we do. You know, that picture of the person at the bottom of the stairs and they're looking up at the top of the stairs and the only way to get up is take a step. And that doesn't mean to say someone's gonna not gonna swoop in and carry you the rest of the way, but the intention of moving in that direction has to be set by the person climbing that staircase. And so it's the same with our goals. If we have this goal that we want to achieve and it stays in the wanting phase and we never take a step towards it, there is nothing coming back for us to help us because we haven't set that intention. We haven't set that, we haven't made the decision, right, Sarah? We haven't made the decision that sets the universal laws in motion. And that's what it does. When we go, I'm going there, and then we take a step towards that, the universal law goes, oh, she's serious. He's serious. They know what they're talking about. Okay, let's help. And then we begin to magnetize ourselves to the stuff that's going to help us. But if we don't take that first step, nothing is coming. You know, I was listening to somebody the other day and they were saying, well, nothing's coming to help you. Nothing's coming to help you. And I was like, you know what? Not to take that first step. No, it's all on us. But as soon as we do, the entire universe is lining up to help us because of these laws, because of the law of cause and effect, because of the law of vibration and attraction, because of the law of compensation. If I'm selling something, somebody's buying something, right? Audra, remember that. If I'm selling a house, someone's buying a house, right? So keep that in mind. You have to set the law in motion, and you do that with a decision and then an action. What do you guys think? Have you noticed the two different things in your life where you wanted something really bad, but you never really took that step towards it, and so nothing happened, versus I really want this, I'm going after it, and you did it, and then it just kept going and going and building, and like it just took care of itself. Have you had those experiences in your life? Anyone want to share? Go ahead, Jim.
Just a few weeks. Well, you know, I'm in that musical, Disco Inferno.
Yes. When is
And
it?
so 2 weeks time. So
Woo!
so the rehearsals are getting quite frequent, and so next week will practically be every night plus Saturday plus Sunday. So I probably won't be able to. Maybe Wednesday, but I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know if I'll be able to make it.
You're absolved.
Yeah. However, this is just a small thing that because you know I've manifested quite a lot of things. Um, so they were doing the village people uh, in the nightclub, and I said, "Ah, I want to be the Indian. I'd love to be the Indian," and I really, really wanted it. And it was a case of you don't get well, you get picked by the musical director. Um, And I thought I'll never be picked, but I really, really, I've got to be the Indian because I've got the Indian headdress and everything. However, they only got it's a fancy dress in the nightclub Disco Inferno. Um, so they've only got two of the village people as singers. Well, I'm the barman at the bar, but I was told. You need fancy dress. What have you got for fancy dress? I said, well, I've got an Indian headdress. She said, yeah, perfect. She said, because we're doing the village people. So dress as the Indian. There you go.
See, you could have said, "Oh, I have a tuxedo from back when I got married." No, you said, "I have an Indian headdress because I want to be
Yeah,
the Indian." You didn't even say I want to be the Indian, but you took that step forward. And she said, "Yes, we need one of those."
yeah. So
I love
that
it.
was it. I got what I wanted.
Good for you. Have you ever not gotten what you wanted because
Can't
you
think
stayed
of,
quiet?
sorry?
Because
I
you stayed
can't,
quiet?
I probably have, but yeah, if I really, really go for something, yeah, I usually get it.
If you go for it.
If I
See?
go for it, yeah,
Yeah. That motion, you put yourself in motion. Who else
yeah.
has an example of the dichotomy between not going for it and going for it? Anyone want to share? I can share in the world of like gymnastics sports, right? When you're doing a new skill and I'm just gonna say it, half-ass it and you don't go for it, you don't make it. You fall on your face. But if you go all in, you say, I'm going to go for it, and it's scary, but you still do it anyway. Guess what? You generally land on your feet or over rotate, which is a good thing. Under rotation is when it face plants. We want over rotation. So when you really go for it, you put in all you got, right? And so it's the same on everything. You can't halfway write a book. You can't halfway, well, you can, but it's never going to end. It's never going to finish. The universe is never going to take you seriously if you put in half effort. And that's the thing. The universe, you know how in the Bible they say that God is always watching and all of that. And we tend to think, he's judging us. But that's not what it means. It means that the laws are always working and always responding to the energy that we're putting out. And so when we are moving in the direction of our goal, the universe sees that and matches it. When we're going halfway, the universe sees that and matches that, right? Anybody else have another example that they want to share? Go ahead, Ryan.
I have gone for it and succeeded, and I've gone for it and failed. So I don't know if that's the correct. But what did happen? Okay, so this is in the area of inline skating. Back in 2007, I went to Saratoga, California for an inline skating marathon. And also, me and my girlfriend wanted to drive up Highway 1 from um, San Francisco all the way up there. And it was beautiful. We stayed in a couple of bed and breakfasts on the way. We went through Napa, we went through Sonoma. We had our dose of, beverages.
All right, how'd you go for it?
So I so this was my first inline skating marathon, which picking that one was kind of bold, really bold. And halfway through it, I was in some rough, it was kind of rough. The pavement was kind of rough, and then when I hit some smooth pavement, it was kind of like black glass, and I took it and I just was going really, really fast, and then hit another rough patch, and then did a tap dance and fell right on my arse. And I had a bruise about the size of a basketball. Okay. At that point, I was like, I'm done. And I only had done this once. And so I didn't. So when I finished, they thought I had actually done the whole race because it was two loops. And I said, thank you. I cannot accept this medal. I,
I did not finish.
I finished I
DNF.
finished it with my girlfriend. She did the half. So we both did the half because I felt. But the following year in April of 2007, okay, that dates me. Um and that's the last race that I ever did was a marathon here in Austin, greater Austin area here in Texas. It was called, it was in Round Rock, which is about an hour north of here. It was called the Round Rock Road Rash Marathon. And I was
Fun.
like, I'm in for that. I have my share of road rash. And so I got in there and had signed up, I'd registered, and I lo and behold, I finished the race upright and I won first in my age group.
Well, hey, that first one going for it, you didn't quit. You came back to the second one and you won. Isn't that
Yeah,
going for it?
it is going for it.
Yep.
And I didn't ask anybody to take me back to the starting line. I skated all the way back, scared shitless because I was in so much pain and there are so many mountains in California.
Oh, well, see, there
The
you go.
hills there. It was like, I made it. I was
Yep.
happy that I made it through and went straight to its homeopathic place we could find there. Got a bunch of arnica and then, just grinned and bear it whenever I had to sit down. It was an
Well,
amazing experience.
there you go. It happened and you kept going. So there you go. You're a risk taker. Everybody grab a pen and your piece of paper or a notebook. Jim.
I haven't got a pen.
Ah, Jim, you should know better by now.
I know, I know.
Okay.
I'll keep it in my head.
Uh-huh. Okay. So Bob says on page 131, and I want you to write this down because this is important. And I'll type it as we go. He says, as of
As of
today,
today, I knew
so
you were
write
going to
this
say
down.
that.
As
I
of
gotcha.
today, I am a dynamic, vigorous risk taker. Putting it in the chat. Whose eyes are always turned toward my strengths and assets, rather than toward my weaknesses and liabilities. Henceforth, I will. I don't think I've ever written the word henceforth. Henceforth, I will wake up in the morning thinking only of ways, in quotes, ways, oops, quote, ways to do the things I want to do rather than waking up thinking of, quote, all the reasons why I cannot do those things. So I'll repeat it. As of today, I am a dynamic, vigorous risk taker whose eyes are always turned toward my strengths and assets rather than toward my weaknesses and liabilities. Henceforth, I will wake up in the morning thinking only of ways to do the things I want to do, rather than waking up thinking of all the reasons why I cannot do those things. Mm, all right. Why did I have you write it down? Anybody have an idea? Go ahead, Audra.
And connection. It
Yeah,
functions, it goes through better.
Yeah, absolutely. So the more that we handwrite something versus typing like I just did, we interact with it more and it creates more neural pathways. It actually changes what our brain looks like and how it functions. We're making new thought waves going through our brain. We're changing the structure of it and we're actually recalibrating it. So this is why I write out every morning my self-image paragraph, not my 12 pages, don't worry, my self-image paragraph of the big goal that I've got going on right now. And I write it out every single morning and every single night. And I handwrite it. And I handwrite it until the fact that I am able to memorize it and I actually make it better. I tweak it and I interact with it. And what this does is helps us to really focus on it for one, because we all need work on focus. Because, you know, Sarah mentioned it earlier, we all have 1,000 things going on at once, and that's why the days go by flying fast. But so when you write it down, it'll slow you down, right? But also because it's programming your brain in a different way, literally, scientifically. Ludi knows. She knows what I'm talking about. Well, Ludi, what is something that you've noticed in that because you're a speech pathologist. So how is something like this, handwriting something like that, kind of does that interact with what you do in a way at all?
It actually helps with your memory of it for mainly because if you can take it in multiple ways and you have a physical connection with it, the synopsises are making more and more. There are more and more synopsises that in turn do exactly what you said is happening. It's scientifically, proven that, you add that physical component, you hear it, you see it, you smell it. I mean, if we could have scented markers, it'd even be better. But
Yeah.
yeah, because our sense of smell is linked so much to memory as well. So yeah, the more
Yeah.
you can have a sense touching it, the better off you are.
Hmm. Right. And I love that because we get to this point where we're like, how do I get into the real feeling of it? And Ludi, you just hit it. You bring all the senses that you can into it, right? And when we create this self-image script, we bring in as many senses as we can. So we see it and we hear it and we smell it. And well, I have a hot cup of coffee in my hand, so you can
Yeah.
taste that, right? Yeah. Well, I can definitely smell the horses, that's for sure. But yeah, we bring in as many senses as we can. And then when we write it out, that adds to it. Remember in school how annoying it was to write everything out all the time? Hmm. And do you remember in school when they used to tell us if we did something wrong, we had to write out, I will not trip that kid again, whatever it is. What were they doing instead of what they wanted to do? Sarah wants to tell us. What were they doing, Sarah?
Um, they were trying to get us to behave better. I just want to say that
They're trying.
repetition, they're trying, yes.
Didn't work.
I just want to make a little side note here, and it's so interesting. Um, it's considered anti-pedagogic in France to get kids to repeat five times the word that they got wrong on a text or something. And so we cannot make them repeat anything, which is just so crazy. I mean, how are we going to learn?
Oh, so is it because they see it as a punishment or what is
Yes.
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's reinforcement of well, right, so isn't that interesting? I wonder if they do that in sports because as a gymnast, if you fell on something, you came back and you stuck five more.
Yeah, but yeah, and I see that, and we have some kids that are in the swim team, and we have some kids that play rugby, which is like American football, um, and they repeat and they train, and I'm thinking the parents are actually very into that the sports, but then when it comes to school, I have a kid that I help because I volunteer with them on Friday evenings, and he writes on a computer because nobody can read what he writes, and so he never knows what he's doing. He doesn't go fast enough. I mean, he's a kid. He's like 11 or 12 years old. And so he has a computer because nobody can bother to get him one of those little, notebooks, exercise books that have the little lines that you write inside. I
Yeah.
did that.
Well, so did Lola.
Yeah, but no, nobody does that. And so nobody can read what he writes. So he has a computer. How
Oh,
crazy is that? I'm sorry,
wow.
that's just crazy.
Well, you know
But
what?
anyway,
Well, Lola's still, she's 15. She's like, she came to me, she showed me her algebra notes the other day. She goes, she wrote a note to me because I homeschool. And she wrote a note to me. She goes, Mom, can we just take a minute and appreciate how beautiful my handwriting is right now?
did you know that Louise Hay at 70 something started to work on her handwriting because she was writing all this gratitude and she felt that it wasn't aligned with the gratitude with how the way she was just writing it, so
Yeah.
she worked on it so that she would draw the letters and really, yeah,
Oh,
so I think
my
it's
heart just jumped a little bit on that one.
right. Isn't
Hmm.
it gorgeous?
It is. I love that. I love that. Well, and it's so true and it's yeah. So, but repetition is the mother of learning. It really is. That's how we learned our name for Pete's sake. How do you learn multiplication if you go, "Oh, you didn't get it the first time? Never mind." But I don't know how to compete with that. So, what I want you to do is read what you just wrote. I am, as of today, I am a dynamic, vigorous risk taker whose eyes are always turned toward my strengths and assets rather than toward my weaknesses and liabilities. Henceforth, I will wake up in the morning thinking only of ways to do the things I want to do, rather than waking up thinking of all the reasons why I cannot do those things. Mm. So I want all of us to think of one scenario in your life where you can directly apply this to now. And if you want to share it with us, you can. Because this is how you take steps. Go ahead, Sarah.
um this morning I woke up and I went through my actually went straight to my bike and to my planks and all of that. And then I was on my bike. I was thinking, oh, I wish I could do this every day because when I'm teaching, I can't, like, and then I thought, no, 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 no. Today is the best day of my life and I'm living it the way that I want. And so, the energy changed and I was like, yeah, this is good. Let's take it today. We'll see tomorrow. But today, it's going to be that day.
Yes, you can only live now.
Yes.
Ah, I love that. I love that. Right, and make it a turning point right now. Now, as of today. Yeah. Anybody else want to share? No. Come on. Anybody?
I will.
Okay.
I like even today I went out, I'm working towards, building my network marketing program and not with my dementia business, but just a side business with health and wellness. And I keep saying, I'm going to stop at these chiropractors' offices. I'm going to stop at these health and wellness spas. And I drive by them and I don't stop.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, if I say this every morning, I'd probably be more likely to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you'll probably find yourself going, oh, which place I'm going to drive this way today
Right.
anyway. So I wonder which one I should stop by today. Right?
Yep.
Ah, I like it. Yeah. Why don't we all just decide to say this to ourselves every morning, right? Hi, Sharon. Welcome. Because it is really this is really identifying a turning point. We have to draw a line in the sand. We have to decide, you know what? That was me, and now this is me. That was me before, this is me now. In mastery level, we talk about 2.0, the version of us, the 2.0 version of us. So what does the 2.0 version of you do? It's the same you, but they show up differently because they get different results. So how do they show up to get the results that you want to achieve? So 2.0 is the person in my self-image script, and she's got the barn and she's got this beautiful grass and all these horses, and it's just beautiful, right? And cardinals in the tree. And so what does she do differently than this version, this current version of me? Clearly it's something. It's something because I'm not there yet. And you're not supposed to be there yet because there's always a new there to go. So you're never going to get it done. Sorry, it's not going to happen. But that's good because there's always more. So what is that version of you doing to get the results that they get? Right? Ludi, that's perfect. That's a perfect example. Well, she's walking in those places and she's saying, hey, I exist. Because otherwise they don't know, right? Yeah, yeah. That's so good. So draw a line in the sand for yourself. Say, from here on out, I'm going to do this one thing differently. And maybe it's, I don't know, answering all the messages in your inbox before you close your computer at night, or reaching out to an extra person that you've never reached out to, or reaching out to somebody um, who is someone that you look up to and admire, and you think, how'd you make it happen? I would love to have a conversation with you, right? Or something like that, something that puts you in the next column, right? And maybe it's just putting out another post. Maybe it's just asking a question. Could be anything. Maybe it's writing an ebook. I'm just saying. Write the darn ebook already, everybody. Okay, so he talks a little bit about irresponsibility versus an aligned risk. So what is the difference? What do we think the difference is between irresponsibility and taking a seeming risk or less of a risk? What do you think? Anybody want to take a stab at that one? Hmm. Hmm. Oh, Sharon does. I can tell. She's finding the mute button. There it is.
Well, I just post on LinkedIn, in fact, the time I walked into my boss's office at Boeing, and I took one of my little art blocks with me. Well, I probably took 4 or 5, but they look like this. They're kind of postcard size, and I made it for cubicles. But my knees were knocking. I took a deep breath, and I was just curious about whether there was a place at Boeing for art.
Oh, that's an interesting question. What answer did you get?
Well, when I left, I was shocked because I did not get ridiculed. I did not get shut down. And he gave me license, allowed me to see what I could do with it.
Yeah.
I happened to tell him that I knew that there was an event coming up in 2 or 3 weeks that I part of a project I was involved with as a facilitator, and I um, I had in mind to I helped lead the group because um, there was an element of trust I knew that was not what it could be or should be. So I since he let me see what I could do with it, I made about 6 or 8 blocks on trust. And the posting I put on LinkedIn was trust yourself with your intuition for you. Trust your
Mhm.
instincts. And they blew them up into big posters and hung them in the production floor of the 777.
I don't even know what that is, but cool.
Well, the 777 airplane.
Oh, oh, wow.
Yeah, so these got, I mean, that was the first place that I really got big observation of other eyes. But
Hmm.
the fact that he didn't ridicule me, that he allowed me to go with my flow and my curiosity and courage. So I took a
Yeah.
risk, and I'm forever grateful that I did.
Yes. That's so cool. And you know what? That wouldn't be a natural question at Boeing, probably. One that they would they would expect. You probably just
Well,
knocked his socks off.
well, the engineers probably, that's probably in their job description. It wasn't in mine.
That's so good. I love that example. That's so good. Okay. So what Sharon just described is courage, right? And Bob talks about the diving board, right? When we were little kids and it's so high and we didn't want to jump off of it. I remember being scared, jumping off of that thing. And then I would jump off of it, but I wouldn't dive because that's just ridiculous. Why would anybody want to do that? And so I said, no, 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 no. I'll just do a straddle jump, or I'll do a cartwheel, or I always did gymnastics stuff. I would flip first, but not go head first. There you go. So, but he says, remember those successes from when you were a kid. And this is one of the most important things I want everybody to hear besides what we wrote out by hand. I want you to remember successes as a kid, whether it was learning how to tie your shoes, riding your bike, going for a horseback ride for the first time, going into a scary haunted house or something like that. Going down to the basement. Our basement was just scary, full of spiders, and ugh. Somebody let a bunch of toads loose out there. It was gross. Anyway, I did not like my basement. So, but I would go down there because I also liked to play foosball and do fun things down there. What did you push yourself through and then see success at the other end on as a kid? And remember how that felt. Like, I just spent 20 minutes in the basement and it wasn't scary. Oh, yay, all by myself, right? Whatever it is. And that feeling that you have is the same feeling of success in whatever it is that you're going to do now. Success feels like success regardless of what the iteration is. That feeling is the same. Just like excitement, whether you're excited for a new job or you're excited for a new baby or you're excited for a new horse or you're excited for a new house, excitement is excitement. It doesn't matter the thing that you're excited about, the feeling is the same. Same as success. So look back and remember that success feeling. And so when you're imagining your goal and the thing that you want, attach that feeling of success. So what you can do is start by going, ah, the first time I tied my shoe, I was just, oh, thank God I finally got this, right? and you were just you felt that success. I did that. Oh, I did that. Right? And then start visualizing your current goal because that raises your vibration, brings you into onto that frequency, and then you are really magnetized to what it is that you truly desire. Okay? Because feeling is the secret, as Neville Goddard would say. So, that's the risk takers. Aligned action means taking action when you're aligned with your goal, not going, I'm going to see if the spaghetti sticks to the wall. So that would be irresponsible, right? You would make your wall yucky. So are you making your wall yucky or are you taking an aligned risk? Sharon took an aligned risk. She was like, I know there's a place for this. I'm going to go see where I can do it. Right? There you go. Does anybody have any questions or anything to add to this lesson, this chapter, before we wrap it up? No? Okay. Well, next week is chapter 8, The Razor's Edge. Oh, one more thing. What can you do? One more thing. And it's a great one. I keep saying that, of course, that's a great chapter because it is. So I'm gonna give you the floor one more time. Anybody have any questions or comments before we wrap it up? LA, anything? Anything? You've moved. I don't know.
Yeah, I was going on mute, but then you seemed like you was gonna wrap it up, so I said, "Well, I'll let it go. I can
No,
maybe."
that was me filling in the gaps.
Okay. Well, the last part was you was talking about anything about feeling success when you was a child. I said in my other studies, I've come across that stuff. You know what I'm saying? That also think back and then try to tie them in. And one thing I remember is when I was in the Boy Scouts, when I had moved to my new neighborhood when I was young, the guys they was in the Boy Scouts, and when I was of age, they asked me to join, so I did. I wanted to. I'd never been camping or anything like that, and I don't know. I can't remember if it was the first camping trip I went on or the second, but it was one of those. It was one of those two. Anyway, like I said, never been. We went upstate. It was nice that day we got there. We set up the tents and everything. And then that night it rained. I mean, it rained like crazy. And some of the other guys they was there. I think they was like they first time going camping too, and they was crying and they was wanting to go home. And I didn't think they was gonna take anybody home, but a couple of scoutmasters, the assistants, they took a car full of guys home because they couldn't handle it. I said, I ain't going down home and whatnot. I didn't came up here. I said, we had tents. They were regular tents, but we had a cloth mat on the, a floor, and then I had a sleeping bag and I had a cover under it. It got wet. I got wet and stuff like that. It was cold, but I stuck it out. And then the next day, overnight it stopped raining and sun came out. It was a beautiful Saturday and everything. And I was just so proud of myself for them staying up there and dealing with that. Because like I said, I had never been doing anything like that. I must have been about 8 or 9, 10 years old or something. So I was real young. But I said, no, if you're gonna be in this, you're gonna go through this through us sometime or another on one of these trips. So I might as well learn how to do it now. And so
Yeah.
I did. And that was one thing that I was always so proud of myself for doing. And I always remember, kept it in my memory because that helped me get through scouts and everything.
Yeah, that's a great example. And it's something that you can go, you know what? I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how to weather this storm, literally. But I did it. And so I can do this too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Thank you. All right, everybody. Next week is The Razor's Edge, Chapter 8. So thank you for being here today. And make sure you go into the member portal and access Born Rich Foundation so you can do your do your stuff when it comes to applying the material. And there's also a self-image piece of it too. So look in there and you can find it. If you need help finding it, reach out to me and I'll help you. Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.